At the Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference, you're going to be able to learn a lot, not just about how to farm, but how to tell that story. That's one of the most important things happening here, as some 530 women from all across the state and even some from outside Louisiana borders have come here to learn all about farming and how to share that story. Some of them have been in farming for a long time. Others are wanting to just get started. It's all about networking and finding out what's working on someone's farm and maybe what's not, and be able to share that advice. So there are many breakout sessions. They also have an expo set up where you can take selfies, you can pet the animals. We ran into the most adorable little girl carrying around one of the baby goats.
She's 2 months old and she is a baby.
And they're talking about value-added products here as well. But I got to visit with Meredith Bernard. You may know Meredith from social media. She is this farm wife.
It's been so rewarding to see what people are learning, people that have no background in farming, what they're learning about where their food and fiber even comes from, and then also being able to relate to other people like the women in this room today that are sharing very similar stories. And that's what I love hearing, that when people just come up and say, I can relate to what you're talking about so much. And I think it's just nice for us all to know that we're not alone.
Also, one of the main speakers here is Louisiana Commissioner Mike Strain. He's always one to advocate for agriculture and talk about the many things that are done here in Louisiana and how they're making things better to be able to increase that bottom line for our producers.
We are going to be shipping a greater share of the world food supply from Louisiana and from the United States. We are going to be really in the driver's seat, and everything is gearing up to do that. You know, we've dredged our rivers. We are building more docks. We're building more facilities. But also, if you look what's happening in the Ukraine and, of course, with Russia, there's going to be a huge deficit, specifically in wheat and in corn and in beans and other commodities. Also looking at world supply and demand.
You know, it's been a couple of years since they've had this conference, so Denise Canatello, who is actually in charge of putting it on this year, says it's wonderful to be back in person.
Giving the women who have interest in agriculture, who whether it be a hobby farm or someone up on a production level where they're growing like my farm does, soybeans, corn, and sugarcane, it gives us the tools that we can make informed decisions for ourselves.
For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Tammi Arender.
Next week, we'll have more from the Louisiana Women in Agriculture Conference. Tammi followed along with one of the farm tours, and she'll have that story next week. Also, we'll have a story from Neil Melanson as he joined a group on a hayride through pine forests in northwest Louisiana.